Okay, so today's tomato review is going to be on this tomato right here, and this is called the Husky Cherry Tomato. I reviewed this in the past, but I didn't officially review it. I kind of just was picking them off the plant and eating them and talking about it, so I really wouldn't say it was a good review on it. But this year we grew it, and I figured I'd give it a revisit and review it all over again and kind of give it an official ranking here. So this is the Husky Cherry Tomato. Don't know too much about it, but I do know it's a really good tomato. It's a pretty heavy producer. Some years you get them where they're really sweet, and some years they're kind of so-so. But it really depends. This is a great tomato to grow. It's usually a very heavy producer, but it didn't produce that much for me. I maybe got about twice as much as you see here. That's still on a plant that's green, but the plant was highly affected this year, and so I had to pick it and probably cut it down to the ground this year and hopefully get a second crop. Not sure if I'll be able to do that. It's already getting late in the year. So let's do a bricks test on it. It's kind of low for a cherry tomato. It looks to be about maybe 5.5. That's pretty low. That's not good. Like I say, this tomato is kind of hit or miss. Some years you get them, they're really sweet and good. I guess it really depends on the soil. Like I said in a lot of my other videos this year, I did not add lime to my soil this year. And so because of that reason, I think a lot of my tomatoes are a lot tangier than they should be. So anyway, let's give that a go and see if it's sweet or not. So if I was to give this a ranking on sweetness and sour, sweetness-wise, I'd say it's probably around 22% on the sweetness. Tangy-wise was probably more like 27, somewhere around there. Kind of getting up there a little bit, close to 30. So there's more tanginess than sweetness, but the aftertaste of this tomato is absolutely delicious. Now, this is a very, very popular tomato. A lot of people are very big fans of this tomato. This is a very sought-after tomato. So a lot of people like this particular tomato, and they really go out of their way to grow it every year. I can understand why. It's got a nice balance to it. It's not maybe the best tasting cherry tomato in the world, but nonetheless, it is a good tasting cherry tomato. And it's also a very good producer, providing all the conditions are right for it and you don't get blight or anything to take them out early, because once that happens, the plant really becomes less productive and the flowers end up dropping and dying. So if you can hold the blight off and get this tomato to fruit early in the season with a lot of green fruit, by the end of the year, you're going to end up with an absolute ton of these things. And it is an indeterminate tomato, I believe, so it's not a determinate, like it grows, puts all its fruit out and dies. You should be able to get a good supply of these tomatoes that come in throughout the year, unless you plant late like I did. And I tried to plant early, but the frost kept coming in. And I almost killed my plants by forcing my plants outside while it was still almost frosting. But I really needed to get out as early as I could, and unfortunately I lose some of the season by doing that. But nonetheless, this is a great tomato. I really like this tomato a lot, always have, and I've been growing a Husky Cherry tomato now for probably close to a decade. So I've been growing it on and off, of course, because I grow a lot of other tomatoes, but I've been growing it on and off for at least a decade now. And I really like the tomato. I'm really a big fan of the Husky Cherry. You can pick seed for this up on my website. Just stop at hrseeds.com and you just look through the tomato pages. You'll find it there. That's really about it for the tomato review on the Husky Cherry Tomato. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.